My name is Pol Ngeth. I was born in Cambodia. I have 4 sisters and 5 brothers. I start story my country who was, damaged by the civil war. Especially for myself, I grew up on the sea war. This war not just one time only, it carried for generation. My understanding is from the 1863 until 75. Most of you probably heard about the Khmer, the killing film. And this regime on 1979, and most of you also heard about the American war in Vietnam, in Cambodia, and this American war is affect Cambodia as a whole. And after USA left Cambodia, and then the Pol Pot, he came to Cambodia and he grabbed the power and forced people to leave the city. So if I remember correctly, 2 million people was forced to go to live in village. And then at that time I was young age and I was separated by the Pol Pot regime to separate me, and they put me in the concentration camp. And then I was forced to work hard day and night. I have sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours. I don't have much to eat. And other co-workers, other children were suffering the same like me. They were starved and hunger and sick. Nobody can get any medication or any doctor to heal them. And the school were closed, the bank were closed. Pol Pot regime shut off the communication from the world as well. So one thing that I remember is about missing my parents. This is a hurtful feeling, which is I believe that no one cannot handle with that from the missing parent. And number 2, what remind me is I was forced to work at the fire drill, for example, to dig the ground, to build like a channel, and to work, for example, to if I remember, it is very struggling to recall all of those. And most important is I was starved, and then I was hungry, and then did not have any sleep. So my body becomes skinny and skinny and skinny. If I remember at that time, I almost died because of that regime. If you want to talk to anybody about how to get better or how to run somewhere, the Pol Pot soldier can secretly come to grab you and put you somewhere, and somebody can be dead if you are against Pol Pot system. This is a regime that perhaps most of you learn about communism. Whatever you try to do is the law of communist regime is very strict. No freedom and no traveling, no nothing. Even you feel, for example, to run away from the concentration camp, you may be caught or you may get killed. It's very hard to leave that area. Later on, around 1979, I believe, there is another troop called Vietnamese soldier came to our country with another Cambodian communist group. So they liberate our country, and I was able to leave that concentration camp, and later on I came to see my parents. I would say when I left the Pol Pot regime, I still have a nightmare. Even now, sometimes when my health was difficult or could not sleep, I remember about how the killing happened, how the hunger, what happened, and so on. So sometimes when somebody talk about the killing film, it triggers my feeling, a flashback, and so on. But I would say that thanks to God, bad or good, we should take as granted for us to grow. That's number 1. And number 2, when we all pass all atrocity, violence, war, and destruction, on one hand it's still hurting to me, but on another hand I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to heal myself. Most importantly, I cannot heal the whole world, but I think that if I start to heal myself first, then I can talk to people, I can talk about especially around healing trauma with them as well. I know Canada is a freedom country. Canada also provide a lot of help to people around the world. I would suggest that people can hear this interview, would take it as a commitment to continue helping people or struggling in war. So I would appeal to all Canadian people or people live in Canada, even government, public institution or non-profit organization to take action very well, committing to help those people. I believe as a new immigrant coming to Canada, face a lot of challenges, especially like me. Number one is language, English. And number two is employment. Three things I would say. I grew up in a Buddhist culture. The Buddha said, peace begin with me. And safe society start from a safe individual. And number two, I am a Christian too. And I believe that in God we trust and God keep us in His hand. And finally, I used to be a United Way ambassador speaking, and the United Way slogan said, for a city to be truly great, it must be great for everyone. My theme is a alphabet H, and I hope what that H mean to me is hurting for me, healing also. I am also hoping that the nightmare, that the success life in Canada would bring me again a hope to see my family and myself to continue have a better life. And then I hope that Canada continue to have people who currently suffering of war, right now torture and everything. By helping them, we have the society, also we have the country as well.